Welcome to the Wrecked by Fiction podcast.
That's not a comfort read.
Yes, it is. Did I read it on my lunch break? Yeah.
So I made notes because I didn't know if there was going to be a quiz.
Hey, everything is for a grade. While I was watching a movie with my 6-year-old, yeah. I didn't know I could be both right and so fucking wrong. Wrecked by Fiction, where we read, cry, and question our emotional stability. So we're back again. Talk about Exodus.
Yes. The second book in the Ravenhood series.
Yeah.
By Kate Stewart.
Thank God. We're into the meat and potatoes.
Finally.
Of this damn series.
Literally the meat and potatoes.
It's so good. Okay, so we finished off with Flock, where we realized that we're meeting the real Frenchman.
Yes.
What we missed last time was the exit of our boys, Sean and Dom.
Yes.
Where you get in the very beginning of Exodus, you get a flashback of the Triple Falls Apple Festival and how Cecilia has been so heartbroken because the boys have left.
Right.
And she hasn't heard from them, and she doesn't know what's going on or why her heart is broken or
why they haven't told her, updated her, checked on her, or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Where the silence has come from. She has no idea.
Right.
And she pulls herself out of bed, and she's, drifting through her life and finds herself at the festival downtown Triple Falls. And Sean materializes. And he is, a vision. She thinks she's seeing a ghost, and she still doesn't understand what's happening.
Right.
And he hangs out for a couple minutes. They dance. And then he says, I gotta go now. She's like, what? What are you talking about?
Right.
Why?
Tries to beg him to stay.
Yeah. Because why would he show up and then bail?
Yeah.
And so she chases him through the festival, and he cuts around a corner, and there is Dom and his car, his beloved car, standing. And he says nothing. Dom doesn't speak. And Cecilia is just left with this parting, physical ache.
Yeah. From
literally watching them leave this time.
With no explanation, no nothing, no timeline, anything.
Nope. No, where am I going?
Right.
No, why am I going? No explanation as to what they did to her at the end of Flock.
Yep. At
the
garage.
At the garage when they tore into her, but like it with silence.
Yeah. With songs.
Yeah. Who's that song by? Cecilia by who?
Cecilia was by
they're having that
Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, okay.
But they also played Afternoon Delight by Starland Vocal Band.
Which is so sad.
Yes.
You can just imagine Cecilia's embarrassment in that moment where she's standing there.
Right.
And all the Ravenhood brothers are laughing, and it's this giant setup that they've created, and she is the butt of the joke. And so they disappear in silence like a puff of smoke. She has no answers, and in walks our Frenchman, the real Frenchman, Tobias. Your buddy's here. And Tobias is just a big, giant bastard. The biggest.
Yeah.
And
he shows up when she's naked out by the pool.
Yep. I say, how did we get here? Tobias comes in when Cecilia is just trying to live her best life, okay?
Right.
But it makes his entrance just pisses you right the fuck off. Because you get you go through Flock the whole time and you think that Tobias is, or that Dom is the Frenchman, with his slight accent and all of that. And then all of a sudden, and by sudden, 400 pages later, Tobias is the actual Frenchman.
Right.
With his very heavy accent and his swapping between French and English.
Yes.
And they're fighting. Cecilia is sick of it. Right. She's over it. She's been pushed around. She's been lied to. She's been manipulated for the last 400 pages. And Tobias is just walking in thinking he's the king. And Cecilia's like, no, not today.
Nope.
Not today, buddy.
That doesn't last long.
No, because Tobias is the actual king.
Yes.
So we get our introduction of Tobias. Mm-hmm. And he goes all in on his manipulation tactics, where he moves into her house.
Basically, yeah.
He sets up his own headquarters without asking, without any sort of prior conversation or authorization. Wow, buddy, look at that. And she's so angry.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself that she should just hold on to that anger, because you're right, where she does let it go so fast. She, bends.
Yeah.
She folds.
Yeah, she lets her loneliness take over.
And you get the first scene where she comes in to her kitchen and Tobias is in there cooking.
Right.
And she's dancing and she's like, what are you? This is my house. He's like, well, it's not really your house.
Yeah.
And then he exposes, his knowledge of her father, and which is, in that moment, more information than she has known up until this point about the Ravenhood.
Right.
And while Tobias is manipulative and has, some tactics that probably he could have, smoothed out a little.
Yeah, they're questionable.
Mm-hmm. I do think that he provides far more information. And from the beginning, from the moment he meets her, he lets little things slip.
Yeah. He is definitely more open, which is surprising with how strict he was on Sean and Dom.
Right.
With giving away information.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny how it's okay for him to do it, but it wasn't okay for them to do it.
Well, like I said, he's the king.
Right.
God forbid anybody else spill the beans, but Tobias is allowed.
Yeah. There's just a lot of things that could have gone very differently if she had been informed from the beginning.
Yeah, well, everything could have gone differently if she had known what the purpose was, because where do we even find out what the purpose? When does Tobias actually break down and realize that she's
trustworthy?
Yeah.
Not until the end of Exodus.
Yeah. So even
into parts of
finish line, she's still figuring out. Yeah. And that's not even from the main, the key characters that are exposing bits and pieces of the actual reason why the Ravenhood was started and who the key players are. And so he takes over her house, essentially. He's there all the time. They drink and eat and play chess and
practice French.
Yeah, he teaches her French, and they kind of form this unusual attachment to one another.
They play house.
They do. Mm-hmm. And that's how Cecilia views it too, though, is that they are playing house.
Right.
She sees this future unfold with a man who came out of nowhere, seemingly, to her. And the two that disappear off the page, too. Like, her brain, it empties of Sean and Dom.
Yeah.
And then, while Tobias is still working behind the scenes on what his main purpose, the mission, after sending the boys away, essentially fall in love. And I don't want to skip over the heart-wrenching scene of them essentially physically fighting and having sex in the meetup.
Right.
I don't want to stop that. I don't want to skip over that, because that piece of you do get.
She had left, and when she'd gone on the date.
Oh yeah,
with the other guy,
mm-hmm.
the random other guy, and then when she gets back, there's the necklace.
There's the necklace, and she goes out
to the clearing,
and she's sprinting, because she's screaming at the top of her lungs their names. She's looking for them.
Right.
She doesn't understand. How did this get there? Again, in walks Tobias's bastard ass. How does he get there? My thing about Tobias is that he is seemingly everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Right.
Up until now, because you get bits and pieces of his influence up until this point. So he is everywhere, but he doesn't exist.
Right.
And that's intentional. His non-existence is intentional. But he's there. He is getting, he hears her screaming, and he realizes that she has wings. And he does not understand where they came from. Why does she have them? Who gifted her with them? And he goes to take it from her. And they physically fight
over it.
But then they end up fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, he rips the necklace off of her.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Yeah, he takes the necklace from her, rips it off of her body, and then she's screaming, "That's mine, that's mine. You can't take that from me. They gave it to me."
Right.
And he just says, "Who's they?"
And then gives her grief for not being able to determine which of the boys it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "You don't even know. You don't even know who it was." She's like, "I know they did." And he's like, "But which one?
Yeah.
Who was in your house?" And she goes through that denial stage pretty almost immediately, where somebody was there. And then she's like, "Well, but if they're gone, then maybe it was Tyler. Maybe Tyler snuck in and they made a phone call and he's,
Right.
And all the while, Tobias is basically just standing there laughing at her. And then she launches herself at him. And then he trips and falls into her vagina. And then all of a sudden, they're having this wild.
Yeah.
It's like a wrestling match. Outside.
Right.
And then he finishes and they're done. And he stands up and he drops the necklace on her chest or whatever.
Hot take. I think he put it on her pillow. That's my
interesting
thought.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm. I think it was him.
I guess I didn't really question where it came from. Because at this point, the assumption, because of the silence, is that the boys are gone.
Right.
How/why would they have done that? Mm-hmm. The betrayal is so hot at that point. But I never thought that it was Tobias, because he is so angry about it. He does not understand how someone gave her wings and it wasn't like voted on or discussed or.
But he's so manipulative.
Yeah.
That I could see him doing that and acting like it wasn't something that he did.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
It was a way to lure her out because he knew that she was going on the date.
Mm-hmm.
And because she calls him out for knowing that information later.
Yeah.
And then, so if he knew that she was out, he had ample opportunity to go put it in the house.
To be there.
And then to also be in the clearing, knowing that she would probably go look for Dom or Sean.
I could see that. So she has wings. He is stomping on her. He bails out again. And at that point, you don't get any answers as to why Tobias was there.
Right.
Who did the wings come from? You don't know, right? And you move forward in the book and you still don't know. But then they form this attachment after their wrestling match of fucking. And they, like you said, they start to play house. And they're making pancakes, or I'm pretty sure it's pancakes. And they are chasing each other
right
outside, out through the house, into the back gardens. And, your breath is stolen out of your chest and you vomit all over the floor because Dom and Sean walk back in.
Yeah.
While they're like mid
flirt session.
Yeah, well, like rolling around on the ground.
Yeah.
In the gardens.
Because of cinnamon.
Mm-hmm. All over everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get to just under halfway through Exodus. And she knows the entire plan about the Ravenhood and her dad.
Right.
She knows what their plan is with him, why, what they believe he did, which, super spoiler, is that they killed, well, I should say, Roman, Cecilia's dad, runs a factory or whatever. Right?
Yes.
It's a factory.
Calculator factory is what it is now.
And there was a explosion, massive accident inside the factory.
And that's how Dom and Tobias's parents were killed.
Dom and Tobias's parents died. And so Tobias has built this because nothing ever happens to Roman. No, he doesn't go to jail. There's no investigation. It was a work accident. Those happen all the time.
Right.
And Cecilia is finding out that this whole thing is built to bring down her dad and his millions that he has curated through this life. And the plan was to use Cecilia, and that was why Sean had originally brought her in.
Correct.
However, the plan was never for all of them to fall in love with her.
Right.
Can't, God forbid they fall in love with a 19-year-old as grown-ass men.
Well, and Tobias never really wanted her as part of it anyway. He was trying to protect her.
Yeah, he wanted to keep her on the outside.
Correct.
And the boys, Sean and Dom, thought they knew better because Tobias became a ghost. He wasn't in the States. He wasn't a part of it. He wasn't in the day-to-day functioning of the Brotherhood. And they wanted to start moving on their plan. They didn't understand why he was waiting.
Right.
And so when he specifically told them, Tobias specifically told them before he left, the last time he had visited them, was that they were leaving her out of it, to not touch her.
Right.
Sean couldn't help himself. Fast forward, she knows Tobias has told her almost everything. Not everything, because not all of it is Tobias' story to tell. There are bits and pieces of characters that have, alternative information. But she finds out that she can leave Triple Falls because her father has issued her inheritance early.
Right.
And they kind of have this last hurrah of playing house.
Right.
And
that was the deal that they had made, was that he would hang out and wait for her to get her inheritance before he finalized his plan with her dad.
He wouldn't move in on her dad until she had what she had come to Triple Falls for.
Right.
And they are, giggling, laughing about cinnamon pancakes cinnamon because she puts cinnamon in the pancake batter, but Tobias doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And in walk Sean and Dom.
Yep.
And I'm going to read because, so it's the last page of chapter 21. And Dom says, "Well, brother, would you take a fucking look at this? Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" And it's them, chest to chest, laying in the grass, covered in food. And they're like whispering to each other.
Right.
And Tobias tells her right before this is that she told him that she would not make room in her heart for him because it was full of Sean and Dom.
Mm-hmm.
And then they walk in and find her, wrapped up in Tobias.
Yeah.
So that's less than halfway. The boys are back less than halfway. Now, Exodus, for me, up until this point, is the betrayal part, the manipulation on Tobias's part, wasn't really a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tobias is Tobias. You knew from any sort of background conversation, or I wasn't expecting him to be forthcoming.
Right. Or kind.
Yeah. No, not really. Because of all the information that you've been fed about him. And so...
He was the wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the kingmaker. And up until now, I didn't really have any sort of big feelings about what was going on. She was finding out information. I love that. But then the boys walk in and everything changes all of a sudden. Tobias can't handle his own damn feelings. He can't manage himself at all. And rightfully so, the boys are pissed.
Yeah.
And Sean is Sean, and he can't shut up. He talks and talks and talks so much shit. And Dom is silent. So really, our character, build of all of these men is exactly the same as it has always been.
Right.
This is not new information about these key characters.
Yeah.
But then Cecilia is like, I don't know if she thinks that things are just going to magically be fine, or that they're magically going to believe that she waited.
Right.
But she didn't.
She didn't.
No.
She didn't.
Not at all. And then from here, everything goes a million miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It takes forever. Half the book is leading up to them coming back.
Right.
You do get new information about what the Ravenhood is, why they're doing what they're doing, what everybody's role is. You get that information in the first half of the book.
Yeah. But he is not honest with her about where the boys went and why they went.
No. No, she doesn't know that he sent them and why and what they were going to be doing during that time.
Right.
And she also didn't know that there was a timeline on it, that they had to be gone for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Which is this huge piece of manipulation, because even though he did know that there was a time, they had a return ticket.
Mm-hmm.
There was a specific time they were going to be returning. And then here they come on fucking schedule. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And yet here you are playing house. Tobias, what is wrong with you? Did you want it to explode in your face?
I think so.
Was that the way you decided to handle telling them that you fell in love with the love of their lives?
Right.
Because it makes no sense.
He wanted to win. And that was the way he wins, is by them.
Do you think that's true? That he was so broken that he wanted to win and that was his only, in his eyes, his only shot?
Maybe. I mean, he claimed that they came back early, but they were saying it was only like a day or two earlier. And so, sure. Because he was like, I was going to tell you tonight. And it's like, that's the excuse every man has ever given. I'm going to tell you tonight, right? Like,
right. I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, no, I think he knew. And I think it was just a way for him to kind of cut her ties with them in that way, because he wanted her.
Yeah. And then you get like I said, things go a million miles an hour from here on out. And things change so drastically. So we're speeding towards the finish line. Literally. That's a good joke. And Dom and Sean are, Sean is still Sean. He's goofy and a little bit dumb.
Aloof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cecilia cannot understand. Everybody is silent. She gets radio silence from all fronts.
Right.
Careful. And she doesn't understand what she's like. We just survived the silence.
Right.
Why are we doing
back to that?
Yeah, why are we doing this again? And again, nobody fucking talks to her. I cannot get behind this idea that these men do not know how to open their mouths and speak to this woman.
Yeah.
This poor woman. And yes, she is a child, basically. But she has an idea now. She knows the point of all of this. At least enough to be, to consent to being involved.
Yeah. I feel like while she did know more, I don't think she asked enough of the right questions when she was getting information from Tobias.
Mm-hmm.
She also wasn't taking enough steps to make sure that she was going to be safe.
Well, one of the main freaking themes in this book is Tobias's idea that safety is an illusion.
Right.
Safety doesn't exist. No matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter who the people who are standing next to you are. And the fact that safety is an illusion is a pretty hot topic when you talk about this book, because I agree with him in the fact that the Ravenhood, literally doesn't exist. They are an invisible entity, or so they think, up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that nobody knows about them, and yet they are still so afraid of, there is this constant threat of getting caught.
Right.
And really that getting caught part is on Dom and Tyler,
mm-hmm.
really. And so she has information. She's not asking all the questions she should be asking. and no one is talking to her. Everybody's back. Everybody's in Triple Falls. And she can't get a response out of any of them.
Right.
And so she gets her inheritance. She says, I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm getting drunk. And
she goes out in style.
Yeah. Packing my suitcase and going insane.
Slashing tires and lighting shit on fire.
And she lights shit on fire because they fucked with her.
Right.
And so she decides she's done. She's leaving. She got drunk. She started packing her stuff up. She wakes up. She's in pain. Why is she in pain? Amanda, why is she in pain?
Her heart's broken.
Mm-hmm.
And she's hungover.
She's hungover, but she's tattooed.
That's right.
She's tattooed. Why is she tattooed?
She had been drugged.
Because fucking Tobias is a bitch. And he couldn't talk to her. But he believed that because safety is an illusion, the only way to actually keep her safe
was to mark her.
Was to give her wings.
Yeah.
To claim her as his, as part of the Ravenhood, so that she could not be taken or used against them or whatever it might be.
Right.
And so she shows up to the garage. And everybody's there, hanging out. Except for Tobias. Tobias isn't there. But the boys are there. And she just starts wrecking stuff in the parking lot.
Rightfully so. I mean, I would never go that far.
You wouldn't light shit on fire if somebody tattooed you against your will?
No, I have other methods of going about revenge.
I'm on property damage train all the way. Are you kidding? If somebody drugged me, removed me from my home, had me get tattooed, brought me back to my home, still drugged, and I woke up the next morning or later that night, whatever, and I had been marked on my body permanently, I'm showing up. We're going face-to-face battle with this thing. And Cecilia gave no fucks. She had none left.
Oh, see, if I had the inheritance, I'd be calling the cops. Being like, I got all kinds of information for you.
See, but that shows, and that's this concept of the like switching sides, right?
Yeah.
Where the loyalty piece is so big in here because she had to be loyal in order to be given her wings. Mm-hmm. She's not telling nobody. She's not spilling secrets. He wouldn't have marked her if he thought that she would go to the cops.
True.
She's been, whether it's a significantly gaslighted, manipulated, Stockholm syndrome, whatever you want to call it, she's not telling anybody. She's not telling on anybody. She's not spilling secrets. She's in it, whether she likes it or not now, but... And so she shows up, and the men have no idea what she's talking about. She's screaming, "Who did this to me? Who did this to me?" Sean, like, slowly, like, approaching a wild animal, comes out at her.
Right.
While she's, got torches, and she's wrecked everybody's car. And then she gets in she's screaming at them, asking who did this to her, and they don't know. And she takes off back to her house. And she's in her home, and now she's frantically packing,
right,
to get the fuck out of Triple Falls. Yeah. And
Dom shows up.
Mm-hmm. And he's allegedly, seemingly alone. Mm-hmm. And she's like, she's so angry. But Dom's the silent one. If we're gonna listen to anybody, we're probably gonna listen to Sean or to Dom.
Yeah.
Because if he's got something to say, she's paying attention at this point. Right. And the thing is, we're all in danger now. like, Dom's not there because he wants to make her feel better. Nope. He isn't trying to placate her and, like, just get her to calm down and stay in Triple Falls and they'll make everything better. Happy family. Everything's fine.
Right. Nope. Miami's there.
Yep. Yeah, the Miami group of the Ravenhood brothers are there. And they're after Cecilia. But Tobias marked her, which nobody knows yet, right? It hasn't spread past the local.
Right.
And Dom is trying to, like, carefully get her out of the house. And then she realizes that there are other people in her home.
Mm-hmm.
Bad people, dangerous people, people who are not her friends. Right. And then Tobias is there, and they're, like, you know, stretched out along the staircase at the bottom and the top and the middle. And they're trying to get everybody to just have a conversation.
Right.
Let's just walk out. Everybody can leave. And Miami's like, no. Mm-mm. We're done. This is the end. We're going to.
We got hired to do this job. We're going to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck the Ravenhood. But this is a job. And there's money involved now. So she's ours. We're taking her. And you guys are going to get out of the way. And this is where this series makes my list on Wrecked by Fiction, like, top almost, is the fact that Dom sacrifices himself.
Yeah. Things
are heated. There's it's not a lot of yelling. They're just trying to have, Dom and Tobias are very calmly trying to have a conversation and inch their way towards each other because there's two spread out. Nobody can cover Cecilia. And Dom puts his gun down.
He had tossed it to the stairs. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because it was freaking Cecilia out.
Mm-hmm. And she was like, he's like, I'm not, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Right.
Everything's fine. And it's too far away. He can't reach it now.
Right.
And fucking Miami takes Dom out. Well, not necessarily intentionally in that moment, but the scene of Cecilia holding him.
Mm-hmm.
And before he, jumps or lunges, he says to her, he paints the perfect picture of what happens after this and after they're all out and everyone is safe. And the one last rainy day and we like rainy days, don't we, baby? And Dom.
Watch a movie.
Mm-hmm. Watch a movie. Let's go to the movie after this. And she says, yeah. Dom doesn't talk like that. Mm-mm. And in that moment, Cecilia knew that this was not going to end the way that anybody wanted it to. Right. He had checked out. And he knew it too. Dom knew it. I think they all kind of hoped otherwise, but Dom knew in that moment. And she is holding him. And she's like, just wait, hold on. In swoops Tyler. And Tyler says, you can't be here. You gotta go. You gotta go. And she's covered in blood. And he's whisking her through the woods. And
giving her cash.
Yeah, giving her cash and a bag and his t-shirt. So that she's not covered in blood. And she is waiting to hear and waiting to hear and waiting to hear. She gets out. And she gets that phone call. And it's silent. And she can hear the ice in the background.
And the lighter.
So we know we got Sean. We We got Tobias with the ice. And
then Layla talks.
Layla on the phone telling her that everybody's fine. And Cecilia's like, I can come back. I can help. What do you need me to do? And Layla's like, nope. You're done.
Yeah.
Your time with the Ravenhood is done. It's time to go.
You're permanently marked, but don't come back.
Yeah, what the fuck? God. And Dom's death feels too big to only be the first half of that fucking book. For me, that makes the whole, like, it changes the way that the group works after that. Mm-hmm. Everything is different. And the series as a whole, for me, is shaped by his death. And I think that, and really that's true about the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. And I think that she, essentially we get this crazy flash forward. We don't know what's going on with her and how we got here. So you're right. She decides she realizes it's time. And what does she do?
She goes back to Triple Falls. Mm-hmm. And she's got, first of all, she has a bad dream and wakes up and rips up her wedding dress for her wedding to Colin. Yep. And then breaks up with him and decides it's time to sell and goes back to Triple Falls and calls her attorney / ex boyfriend Ryan. Yeah. And then he had already had a deal that somebody had offered. And she said, get the paperwork drawn up. And then when she gets there and they go to sign, she sees the logo and it's a raven. And that's when she realizes
connects the dots.
Yeah, that it's Tobias trying to buy the company. Mm-hmm. Which was predictable because he had wanted to get it all along anyway.
Right. That was his goal.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so then she makes his attorney make him show up.
Yeah, she says, I'm not doing this unless I can meet with the owner, CEO.
And then he shows up and they have a big blowout argument. And so she changes the terms on the contract. And then he eventually agrees to her ridiculous stipulations of meetings and whatnot.
All of the meeting workers and making sure that the people that work there now under her, maintain their employment and things like that.
Right. And then he's dating the girl.
Alicia.
That was a brief person that we met in Flock at the first gathering. Mm-hmm. But they end up breaking up because Tobias
can't leave Cecilia alone.
Right. Well, and Cecilia can't leave him alone either.
Well, and we get that scene where she goes into the bar. Mm-hmm. And bartender, I think his name is Eddie.
Yep.
He says, "You cannot be here." And she's like, "Why not?"
And he won't serve her, and so she tries to pour her own drink out of her flask that she has with her.
And then in walks Tyler.
Yep.
And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yep.
He's like, you don't belong here anymore."
Yep.
And God, she hasn't seen Tyler in, the better part of a decade, and he's a grown man now. He's different now.
Yep.
And she was shocked by the change in his appearance and his growth and this kind of who he has become now. And
that's when she finds out he doesn't live there anymore too.
Yep. The moves on the Ravenhood stuff hadn't stopped.
Right.
And she kind of realizes that Roman wasn't the end of it. That while she thought she knew the whole plan, it was never the whole plan. And that the boys didn't just let it go when Dom died.
Right.
And two, though, I think she realizes that one of the things that she fights with Tobias over, even after he agrees to her crazy terms over the purchase of the company, is everybody's guilt.
Right.
About Dom's death. And
Everybody that blames themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I hadn't done this, Tobias carries so much guilt because if he hadn't fallen in love with his brother's girl,
yeah,
none of this would have happened which is all not true.
No.
And it's just not true. And in this too, she goes, again in part 2, she goes through back to Triple Falls, and one of the first things she does is she goes to the clothing store.
Mm-hmm.
And she meets up with,
Tessa.
Mm-hmm. And she had told, Tyler to go to be the one, or, had told her, I'm going to send somebody,
right,
to come pick up the stuff. And the plan had been for Tyler to be the one to go. And it wasn't Tyler.
Nope.
Not at all. And Tessa is mean. Mm-hmm. She's so mean.
Yeah, and I don't understand that.
To her.
I don't. Because she also says that she's secure in her marriage. Because Cecilia tries to say, I won't, I won't step in. Mm-hmm. I will leave you alone. I will respect your marriage. And Tessa cuts her off and says, my husband won't. And it's like, but if you're that secure in your relationship, then why are you being an asshole? Why can't you just be nice and be like, yeah, we're happily married and we love each other and we have 2 beautiful children and, it's good to see you. Hope you're doing well, kind of thing. Like, why do you have to be ugly about it if you're that secure in your relationship?
Well, and I think too, so Tessa marries Sean. Mm-hmm. And because Sean is the one who goes to pick, to pay the store or whatever.
Yep.
And I think too that sucks is that Sean, quite literally refers to Cecilia as like the one that got away.
Mm-hmm.
And even at the end of Exodus, holds her face in his hands and tells her that he will always love her and care for her and all of this stuff. So while I don't necessarily think that Tessa should have said what she said, I do think that Tessa's not naive.
Right.
And that's why she's so mad, is that she knows that if things had gone a little bit differently,
she wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's very possible she never would have gotten married and had 2 beautiful children with Sean.
Yeah.
And
agreed. If you're gonna play it off that you're that secure,
right,
then,
that you're fine, everything is fine,
then also don't be a dick about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's true. She was just such a bitch, and I was like, that's unnecessary. That's just really not necessary. Also,
she's spending money at your store.
Yeah.
Like, just be kind.
For me, though, I think that in my head, I was like, Sean should have left. Mm-hmm. After Dom died, if it was me, they were so connected. I think that living in a space like that after something so tragic, it would haunt me.
Yeah.
And from talking to Sean at the end of the book, it does. Mm. It does haunt him. He can't leave it alone. Which is why the Ravenhood kind of morphed into what it has become by the end of Exodus.
Right.
Because they can't let go of the guilt of, that survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
That they have. And we are hit at the end of Exodus with this scene of Sean and Cecilia and him giving her Dom's keys.
Right.
And telling her, he would have wanted you
to have his
to
car.
Have it.
Yeah.
And then Tobias is like, he tries to steal the car back.
Mm-hmm.
Is that next book? That happens right at the...
I think it's right at the end of Exodus.
Yeah. It is right at the end. He's like... He tries to steal the car back. Yeah, 10 months later, we get all of this information. And he's like, bullshit. Only one person had keys, and it was me and Dom. And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, Tobias, you're a fucking tool bag. If there was anything else that my feelings on this book specifically, the only thing I would ever talk about is the fact that Dom died.
Yeah.
I still can listen to the audiobook clip of him telling her that they're going to go to the movies, and I will cry. That's what ruined my life. And I know you didn't cry.
No.
Because you finished this book and you were almost done with Finish Line. And I was texting my friend her and I read all of these books together. And I said, Amanda didn't even mention that Dom died. She didn't say anything. She didn't say that Dom died. She didn't say that she had feelings about it. She just moved on. And I was like, how do you just move on? I did not understand how you...
Because it's somewhat predictable that not all three of the main male characters are going to make it to the end of the series.
Okay.
So I knew one of them was going to go. Like, it's just...
And
sorry.
Did you have a favorite?
If all three lived to the end, Dom would probably have been my favorite.
Okay. So you didn't give a shit that he died?
I didn't say that I didn't give a shit that he died.
But you didn't have any feelings about the fact that he died. At least not enough to bring up.
I was also at a point where I knew we were going to be doing this, and I didn't want to text you about everything because I wanted to save it for when we talked about it here, so that it's like that fine line.
Bunch of bullshit. That's such bullshit. You did not.
It did not make me emotional. Mostly because...
But why?
Because I compartmentalize my feelings.
Right. We know.
Yeah. It's just how I roll.
And everyone will know soon enough after we get into more books, because Amanda has no feelings and is basically a statue and a robot.
Yep. Pretty much. I have all these little boxes on metal shelves in my brain.
And Dom's death just got slid into one? Is that what you're telling me?
Dom's just got his own little box.
Or you're just a demon and you don't give a shit.
Maybe it's both. Who knows?
Jesus Christ. So, for me, Exodus was all of this buildup, which is in reality only less than 250 pages to him dying. And then the aftermath is another 250 pages. And in my opinion, it's not that nothing happens, but nothing that sticks out as much after his death for me.
Right.
Because the timeline jump is hard.
It is difficult. It also, for me, is more of a build-up to finish line.
The timeline jump?
Yeah. That second half of the book is like, okay, we're going to start building you up for the next book.
Okay.
Kind of deal. Yeah. Because there's kind of two timeline jumps in the end. Because you have the 6-year jump, and then you've got the 10 months where Tobias comes back to try to take the car.
Yeah. And yet you have no idea. You get the end of where really, so the timeline jump, you come in at the second timeline jump, the 10 months, you come in with Tyler. You don't come in with Tobias. You come in with Tyler telling Tobias that he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And that if he wants her, to go get her. And Tobias is like, she's better off without me. She doesn't need me. And Tyler's like...
throwing himself a pity party.
Are you fucking joking?
Right.
And then Tobias is like, okay, fine. And then just the clothes on his back. And out the door he goes.
Right.
And Tyler's like, wow, he's really an idiot.
I mean.
And he says, I hope she hurts you. I hope she breaks another chair. Like, I just think that you get all of this building in the second half of this book, but nothing really happens.
Right.
She doesn't get married.
Nope.
That was like an imagination, like a dust in the wind situation where Cecilia almost got married. She almost married a perfectly nice human being with no secrets and no scary mafia brotherhood.
Right.
Imagine that.
Illegal activity.
That she has a normal life.
Who wants that? It's no fun.
No, I have to go find the older brother of the man I was in love with who died.
Yeah.
Anyway, and...
No, she opens a restaurant.
Yes, she does. Well, yeah. Does she stay in Triple Falls?
No.
No, she does. She leaves.
She finds some little small podunk town.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
And she's like, and I remember Tobias asking, like, why are you here? She's like, it was quiet. Nobody knew who I was.
Mm-hmm. Start over.
Yeah. I get to do whatever I want, be whoever I want. And so you get this kind of this unfinished feeling, like at the end of Exodus, where for me, I still was left raw. And then you get the comedic Tyler piece at the very, very end, which is funny.
He's such a cutie.
He's one of my favorites. And so I just think that going into Finish Line, I was convinced that nothing else could hurt quite so bad. And I can't believe that you didn't. I was so convinced. I was convinced I had you. I was convinced I had you you were going to cry. I don't know why I thought that. But
it's hard to disappoint.
My feelings about this book are, I think mixed. I would rate it. So I gave Flock 3.5 stars out of 5. I would give Exodus probably a solid like 4.5, maybe just like a 4.25 situation because of the sobbing, screaming, crying, throwing up. That's me when I read this book. But the unfinished nature of part 2, where I don't love that Tobias has a woman and they are like rekindling, him and Cecilia are, sparks are flying, and I'm like, you have a woman. How dare you get drunk and be here in my face? And she's like, what about Alicia? And he's like, Alicia knows. I'm like, Alicia knows what? That you suck?
Yeah.
Me too.
Alicia told him to go work it out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But Cecilia doesn't know that.
No.
I'm like, so
it's after Cecilia almost lit the restaurant on fire.
Yeah, it is. I do think that it's all of the back pieces are necessary and everything. I struggle with the flash forward, the timeline jumps, break it up for me in a way that I think we could have waited. I don't, and maybe she did this, and maybe, Kate Stewart is a genius, so I don't know. Maybe she did that second timeline jump, that 10 months, to get you to read Finish Line. Because if you didn't know Tobias was coming back,
then what would you think is in there?
Right.
Yeah.
Would you read it? And I guess if I think about it that way, I could see why having that, last 2 chapters or last chapter
right.
plus a bonus chapter or whatever.
Yeah, I think without it, you could have just ended it there.
Yeah.
And it could have just been...
It wouldn't have been a happily ever after. It wouldn't have been an HEA.
No.
Technically. But it would have been the end. And yet, Finish Line is so... You move into this... It's so intense. It could be its own... Like, so much happens in the next book that it could be its own, like, sub-series.
Yeah.
I'd read it again, which I do on a regular basis, but I don't know. I think, so when we talked about Flock, I asked you if you would tell people to read it, and one of my things was the miscommunication trope is heavy, and if you're not into that, then I wouldn't read this series. I think that's still true.
For sure.
And if you came for the love triangle from the first book,
that's
over.
Yeah.
There's no more love triangle. There's a lot more fucking, though, in the second book. Yes, you said that right before we started filming.
I did. I was like, I forgot how much sex was in this book.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There is a lot
way
of it.
Way more.
It was only slightly awkward while I was listening to that in my car and in my headphones at the fabric store today.
I forgot that you did a reread.
Yeah. I was doing a little quick recap to remind myself.
Well, I think that because of the heavy, like, triggers with the death of the gun, the violent nature of his death is that if there are people who can't handle it, of his murder, that is enough to trigger some people not to read a book like this.
Yeah.
And this is why when I talk about this series, I refer to it almost hits on that thriller note for me.
I could see that.
Because of the violence in the books, or in this book specifically, the violence. So,
yeah, the other two aren't as bad, but this one in particular,
yeah.
I could see that for sure.
But, well, we're gonna go ahead and add Exodus to the Goodreads, and Amanda needs to update her Goodreads.
I started to the other day.
Did you?
I did.
Proud of you.
Thanks.
You remembered your password?
I did.
I don't have, my password is saved. I don't know my passwords or anything, so God forbid I ever lose my cell phone. But we're going to go ahead and update things on our end, and we're going to come back next time and talk about the Finish Line. And we're going to wrap up this Ravenhood journey with the last book, and then maybe we'll come back and I can
do the other
cry about
side stories.
Yeah, cry about the Legacy series. Because if you loved the original trilogy, it's easy to fall in love with the Legacy series for sure. So
I have them on my list. I had to switch gears to Throne of Glass.
What? God, don't give me so much shit about me asking you to read another series that I am obsessed with. So
okay, I still love you.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Good talk.
Good talk.
See you later.
Bye.
Wrecked by Fiction is recorded and produced by Westhouse Productions. They handle all the audio, video, and post-production, so we get a clean sound, smooth edits, and zero tech headaches. Westhouse Productions aligns with podcasts, live music, and creative projects that want to sound professional without losing their edge.